Welcome back again to the Philly Uncensored Sports, the Uncensored Philly Sports Podcast. Um, Finally, you can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Twitter, and that's iTunes. I knew it was something. I always missed one. But it was another game, a game that it should have been an easy game for the Sixers. It was for the easy game for the starters, but the bench did what they seem to do whenever we have these type games, which don't enable us to rest our starters up as much. So it was some good things I saw in this game, though. I like this is Seth Curry's second straight game that he played decent. He was shooting well. Danny Green had a nice little bounce back tonight, to what we're used to seeing from him. He had 4 steals, 3 assists, the 14 points. Ben Simmons had 15, 6, and 5. Tobias turned around after that shooting night he had last night and bounced back nicely. Came out with 21 and 9, what we expect from him on a regular basis. Shot 10 for 13. And we did all this with Embiid struggling. And the starter still was handling business. So what you got? Anything stand out to you in particular?
Yeah, the fact that the Bulls was playing without Zach LaVine and Vucic, and yet when we dominate them. So this game, the final, it showed that we won by about 10 points, and it wasn't even that close. Again, it was the bench that came in and stunk it up. The bench let a 20-point lead evaporate. I mean, the starters should even played in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But what happened was the bench came in. That's why if Doc, as far as this all bench lineup, is not going to work in the playoffs. So
especially with certain players that you're right, because you're not going to see that in the playoffs. But I will reiterate what I've said all season. Mike Scott should not touch the floor.
I mean, madness today,
bruh. First of all, he only played 5 minutes and 29 seconds. His plus minus is minus 13.
Minus 13.
How you minus 13 in 5 minutes?
Because he can't play.
Come on, man.
He can't play.
Come on, man. Shake. Shake went 3 for 5, but should he have shot more? 3 for 5, 9 points. That's kind of sort of what Shake really been this year.
And Coby came back. Coby White, that is, and he destroyed us again.
Yeah,
he always played well against the Sixers. For some reason, he just lights up. And in the fourth quarter, he was bringing his team back. I think he finished maybe with 21 points. So him and Thad Young still is a savvy veteran, so he gets it in. I like him. Always have. I thought we should have picked him up, try to get him, just to be a veteran presence on our team. I know you ain't like that. But I thought he'd be a nice veteran presence on it.
Dude, what? I ain't like what? Coby White?
No, Thad Young joining the Sixers.
Only reason, my only issue with Thad Young being on the Sixers is that I like to do what? Honestly, with the way the Sixers are set up, when you got Ben and Embiid, who pretty much inside players, where Tobias actually works inside and out, I think that you need more of a stretch four, which is what Mike Scott was supposed to be. Coming off the bench to be that stretch four. And I will reiterate once again that I think that should be Paul Reed's job. This is the game when we was up like 20 or whatever like this. This is a game you put Paul Reed in, and you let him bring energy and excitement in there to come in and play. Mike Scott. I
just don't think Doc trusting right now.
Well, do you trust Mike Scott?
He's had him. Remember, he played with him in the Clippers too. So he trusts him more than he does the young boy. But the boy Daniel Tice, I don't know what's something, but he plays Embiid well. He played them last year well in the playoffs, and he played them well again. It's like for some reason
he played him well in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
he'd averaged 30 points a game against Boston with no help.
It was a struggle. 30 points.
He averaged 30 points.
It was a struggle.
It was a struggle because he had no help. Ben wasn't playing.
It was a struggle. Ben
wasn't playing, and what's his name? Everybody else was off. So not saying that Ben would have made the big difference in all.
If you look at the matchup, for some reason, like B struggled today. He only at one point in the third quarter, he only had 6 points.
Yeah,
he struggled big time today. I mean, if you want to, the Yellow Boys, they're not here to give Ben his props, but Ben was.
They wouldn't have anyway.
But Ben was aggressive tonight, and this is what I wanted. If you're not going to be just taking jump shots and anything, you can't just be passive the whole time. But he actually was very aggressive. He was going to the hole, and he actually knocked down 3 or 4 free throws at the end of the game. And the rest didn't call anything today.
Nah, come on, stop
They
hyping
didn't
Ben
call.
up.
If you know,
Stop hyping
they didn't
Ben
get no
up.
calls.
Stop hyping Ben up because we know Ben almost cost us the game because it's always Ben's fault when we almost lose. You know,
But no,
that's
I'm just
probably
saying,
why some people ain't come on tonight. But you know that's
I
neither
know.
here nor there. But
the refs did not help us at all. They didn't. They swallowed the whistle. At first, I was happy because I said, "Okay, the game is flowing and get this thing over with." It's a boring game, but that's how B get a lot of his points is going to the line 12, 13 times. I think he only went to the line maybe 5 or 6 today.
Yeah. But see, this is my theory when it comes to that. This the way I play. You know, in my later years when I was more of an post type player or whatever, if I'm playing in a tournament or I'm playing in a league or something like that, and the refs are not calling the physical play, I play extra physical. So then it's like you're going to start calling something. You're going to have to start calling something, and the other people are going to get mad because they getting hit too.
So
That's when I start playing like Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard. I'm about to say you turn into Dwight.
I start playing like Dwight Howard.
Did you
and
see
then it's like
day?
You make the refs have to start calling stuff because they have to start getting the game in control.
Did you see the elbow he gave some bull on Chicago? Mm-hmm. I felt bad for the bull.
Hey, I don't.
Dwight.
That's like Dwight, and Dwight was, Dwight played last night. You know, he went 0 for 2 today.
Yeah, I'm not going.
I'm not going to rip him though. Yeah,
I'm not going to rip him tonight.
Yeah, so
the last 2 games he played well, so I'm not going to rip him tonight. He's 35-year-old bones in the NBA right now.
Right. You know, but we do need more from Shake. Like I said, I'm excited. We had our starting 5 back, and I know we got certain guys that's a little shaky, like Danny Green and lately Danny Green. Danny Green been pretty solid this year. He's been pretty consistent.
Yeah.
But Seth, if we got a couple games back to back of Seth playing like that, that could be a game changer for us in the playoffs. If Seth gets even a semblance of what he was before, like he looked like he had confidence. He was shooting like the little step back and
I know, but he's playing against JV
I agree.
Squads.
But see, this the reason why though, right? I get you, and what you're saying is valid. But the reason why I'm encouraged by that is because even when we was playing other teams, he was getting wide open shots and not hitting.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So if he's going to get wide open shots, if you're going to have people going to have to worry about doubling and or tripling bead, and we say what we want, but when Ben Simmons drives, he draws attention.
Yeah,
we saw that in this game when he was driving in there, they caved in, and you got the outside shots that could flow.
I need to see this against real competition though.
I agree.
JV. We've been playing JV squads.
This what you wanted.
He looks good.
You wanted the easy pass.
No, I want the easy pass to get us to the playoffs and that number 1 seed. But I need to know. I'm not sure that Steph is going to be the same player when we're in the playoffs playing against real competition, playing against stud for blue chip shooting guards.
Yeah, no, that's legit. That's what I agree. Like with stuff we was talking about yesterday, it's a legit question about what we're going to do in the playoffs. Because we know Ben Simmons his numbers dropped in the playoffs. I mean, he hasn't been in the playoffs in 2 years now. Like he was there last year, so it's been a couple years since it's been over a year since he been there. Tobias numbers in the playoffs.
I know he got to step.
And because I was the one always hyping Tobias points, and that's when the light skin ones kept on bringing up that Tobias in the playoffs come up short and his numbers are low. So I mean, I agree with that. But I mean, at least Embiid did carry his numbers and he boosted his numbers last year. So I'm hoping. I know we want to win all these games, but I'm hopefully with Embiid having this low production, the whole MVP thing is out of his mind, and we can rest him up a couple games. We can do a couple games with Embiid just sitting out.
So the Bulls went on the bench. They was got awful. The Bulls went like on a 21-5 run in that 4th quarter. I mean, we gave them a 20-point. We said, here's a 24-point lead. We're gonna give you the whole 4th quarter to play and chill. And they got it down to 1. We actually dropped the lead it went from 20 points to 1 point. So they had to bring all the starters back in. They had to clean up the mess that the bench. So this is the 2nd game in a row. Doc is going back to Doc. He cannot play a 5-player bench play 5 players. That's all bench, all reserve players. You can't do that. Can't do it. You might be able to do it against the Houston, but after that, you can't do it.
I mean, you can for a little bit of stretch, but it depends on. For one, like I said, Mike Scott shouldn't be in that rotation. Mike Scott should not be in there. But if you're telling me, like, say, if you got a stretch where you have, George, what you got, George, you got Hill, you got Shake, Thibault, Korkmaz, and Dwight.
They know Korkmaz hurt himself in I think second.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like but I'm saying, like, if you talking about that's the 5 you got near the lineup, you got in there, they can run for a few minutes. But like you said, in the playoffs, you're not going to have a whole bunch of minutes with them in there like that. And even with that, it should be I think it should be a little bit more mixed with George Hill. Like, had George Hill come in there a little bit while early with him and Ben in there, and then pull Ben out and let George Hill run it with the starters for a minute, and then end up bringing Ben back to play with the bench some.
See, this is why I think we need Tony Bradley right now, because we could actually sit not Ben, but we could sit Joel tomorrow, Wednesday, when we play the Houston, if we had a true center and Tony Bradley.
Even if we had a true backup power forward, see that, and I know I keep beating a dead horse, but you can sit Embiid and you can let Reed run as the backup center against somebody like Houston. Like, who does Houston have at center?
I don't know
that, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think Houston has a viable center at that position. So you start Dwight and then you bring Reed in. You can have smaller lineups if Houston still has a smaller type team. So, I mean, we'll see. But at some point, you got to sit B down. And I think even Tobias, I was glad to see him bounce back tonight. But last night I felt like he looked a little wore. I think Tobias. And remember, he had that knee problem that been messing with him all season. I'd like to see Tobias get a game or two to rest.
Both Tobias and Ben came back, and they played well today. No problems whatsoever with Tobias or Ben. Especially Tobias was our clutch. We said he's going to be our closer. Earlier in the year, he was our closer. Then he suffered that leg injury. But today we saw what he can do. So hopefully we don't have to play them on Wednesday night.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. Because who we play after that though? You remember offhand? No.
Nah.
Yeah, but I mean, we know that it's not a whole bunch. Is that the Pelicans that we got coming in after that?
I think it is the Pelicans at home.
But the Pelicans might just be in quit mode now because they got thumped tonight by Golden State. I don't know. They might not even be in the playoff race no more.
Yeah, the Houston. We play New Orleans. Yep, on Friday night.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So I mean, I wouldn't be opposed. I think that, especially because they just played the back-to-back. I mean, that might be the game. I mean, all right, put it this way: if the Nets lose to the Bucks, then I might be willing to say, you could set like maybe 2 of them. I don't want to set 2 of them at the same time, but I think they could use a couple days off like that.
So that's gonna be tough too, because the Nets losing, the Bucks will only be 2 games or 1.5 games behind them.
No, we got the Bucks about 3.5 games right now.
Right now we got about 3.5.
Yeah, so it'll be 2.5.
Okay, so it wouldn't be bad then.
Yeah, that's what I mean, but see, this the part, because like games like this should have been an easy game. This should have been an easy game,
and it was. It was.
No. It was for our real players, but this is why I'm saying, like, sometimes with Doc, like we saying with Doc, sometimes with the rotations, and yeah, the guys should be able to do stuff. But when you see they out there and they lack a days, well, that's what I'm saying. To me, this is a game where you have bring in the guy Tucker and Reed and Matisse, these 3 young guys that come in and always bring energy. I didn't see a whole bunch of energy from Shake tonight. Like Shake, I just didn't get that feel like it was energy coming from them guys.
Because it wasn't.
And that's what I'm saying. So in a game like this, and you then I'm saying, and you up 20, let the young boys come in there and run around and bring that energy.
Yeah. So but they just flew. Remember, think about it, they flew from one part of the country to another. Now they're going back to Texas. NBA didn't do us any favors as far as, and Doc was complaining about it. Like, we're already in Texas. Houston is only 45 minutes away. Why are you sending us all the way across to the?
But see, I don't even think. But do you think that's good that Doc complains about it?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't.
the
Because what is it
schedule is
going to
already
do?
made.
What's it going to do? All it's going to do is now you might put it in your players' mind like, yeah, this is tiresome. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's a psychological game. So
That- that-
that's all I'm saying with that. And that being said, with all that flying around and stuff we did, the starters held their own.
They did.
I mean, Bede had an off night tonight, but the starters as a whole, this starting unit that has a great record as that starting unit, that starting five, great record. I mean, I have no complaints about how the starters handled themselves. They played as a unit. Like we said, sometimes if some people say if Bede is off, who can cover for him? Who can pick up the pace? Tobias did what he did. Seth
Yeah.
stepped up. Ben was solid. So, of course it was Chicago, but they did what they needed to do.
No, I agree. So tomorrow the matchup again, you got the Bucks in Brooklyn. I'm telling you, I still rather see Brooklyn in the playoffs first over the Bucks. I don't want no part of the Bucks.
Yeah, I think people overrate the Bucks a little bit.
All right, we shall see. All right, it's gonna wrap it up for us tonight.
Real quick, let me real quick about the Bucks. This is my thing about the Bucks. Everybody want to dismiss the fact that the Bucks lost as favorites the last 2 years.
Different team.
What's so different about them? Just one player, Drew. That's what's different, huh?
Tucker and Drew are huge.
Well, don't hype up Tucker. Don't hype Tucker. What did Tucker do over in Houston?
His defense. What did he do in
Houston?
He's always been a good defense. He's always been he can knock down that corner.
Come on, man. I'm not corner three. Now Drew is a solid pickup, and that's an upgrade from where they were.
As is PJ Tucker.
But we also not going to dismiss the fact that everybody the great Giannis, and which he is. He's definitely one of the greatest in the league. But Giannis' numbers drop every playoffs, and his numbers drop every playoffs. And this is keeping in mind the last 2 years, they were the number 1 seed. So they played cookies. They played cream puffs the first round, and his numbers are still dropping because in the second round, then he played
the second round. He said they'll go up against Kawhi and
no, he didn't in the second round.
Well, no,
he played Kawhi and him in the second round. He ain't playing him to the third.
Still, I'm saying he still had to go up. He got to the third.
Yeah, and what was the teams that he played that year? One was Orlando, right? Was it like Orlando and Boston or something?
Yeah, I think maybe it was Boston. Did he play Boston?
I know one of them years. I get the years mixed up, but all I'm saying is they've been favored. They the number 1 seed that they was walking through everybody, and then when they got to the playoffs, then all of a sudden, like last year was the first year Middleton really.
It's a different team. Then they got the guy from Villanova. I can't.
Vincenzo.
Yeah, they got him.
I mean, we'll see. I just don't see, like, even I get what you're saying with, not saying that I don't respect their game. Of course they can win. You know, I mean, I think that the 3 between the Sixers, Bucks, and Nets, either one of them can win. That's why the number 1 seed is so important to me, because let the other 2 play each other.
Yeah.
But for the Eastern Conference, if all teams get that far. So, but we'll see, man. I just don't, and they played the Nets twice. They played the Nets. Didn't they play the Nets on a back-to-back? And they played the Sixers twice off a back-to-back.
Yeah.
So
they were fortunate in winning the times that they did play us. But with that being said, I think those teams, they're tall. The Bucks is tall, and they match up well with us because usually we are the tallest team when we matching up against our opponent. But they can match up evenly with us.
I still don't think that they match up physicality with us.
All right, we shall see.
Yeah, we will. I ain't gonna say that they got a pretty physical team. I just don't think. I don't know. We'll see. It'd be interesting.
Well, we got this win. We did what we were supposed to do. Now we move on. We got an 8:00 game on Wednesday night. So hopefully the other 2 fellas could join us. But unfortunately,
I might take the night off, especially since some people don't want to hear my voice anyway. I'll take the night off. Let it be a light skin celebration if they decide.
I know, right?
Let them handle that.
All right, Sixers win 106-94. We catch y'all on Wednesday after the game. We out.
Peace.